Hi, everybody. Welcome. This is Joanna. Thank you so much for tuning in. Yay! Today, we're going to talk about one of my favorite topics for practical ascension and healing wisdoms, and something that's been a part of us for all eons of time. Obviously, as we move through this concurrent now moment, all aspects of who we are, all timelines, all realms, we're healing and we're transcending what we used to be through the acknowledgement and the acceptance and the allowance of who we are in all moments in our allness, understanding that we take all forms, that we take all aspects of divine bodies, divine feminine bodies, divine male bodies, and harmonizing those energies within us as we're renewing ourselves as the sense and the essence of source that we are, being the soul that we are. The soul encompasses many things, and we'll create another video on what the soul truly is, that's really undeniable and undefinable. Many cannot understand and explain, just as source is, what our soul truly is. The vibrations of all that we are in a multidimensional perspective that is sown within the evolutionary light programs, encompassing the soul energies through threads, Merkabic sacred geometry that conjoin with us in particular moments of our lifetime's evolution. And those evolutionary soul sacred geometries move with us as we continue to rise up and join with other sacred geometric shapes. So that as micro macro, through this now spiral of time, allowing all that was to be released and transmuted through the Holy Christ, and seeing the divine relationship in all things, honoring it, appreciating and valuing it, because it's all us. Releasing what was, releasing all the old stories and the dramas and all the things that we play out. Allowing us to really sit within this now moment and say, wow, that was all me, and I honored all these aspects and all these stories, because I get to rewrite it now. I get to say, okay, I've lived that story, it taught me this, I learned this about myself, I learned myself that, you know, I absolutely have faith in Source Creator. I'm going to be led in certain ways, it's going to be unknown, but that's part of the journey. Just constant renewal of self. And as we do, we call in those other aspects of us that are as the soul, and we call them forward to live with us in this new fluidic movement of who we are as this song of source. It's the harmony of love. It's the harmony of creation. That is how we alchemize. That's how we co-create. And it's this essence of who we are as the all. And one cannot alchemize unless they're connecting with themselves as the all. It can't be done as far as, you know, a disconnected state of experience. You know, like, I want that over there, I'm going to alchemize it. And no, it's about becoming the one with the all within it. As we are understanding our allness, one thing that comes forward in healing, we'll do a separate show on that, because that can take a whole hour just to explain what that means. That's why I just stopped there and said, okay, we'll do another video on that. But what we wanted to talk about today was totems, and how totems in nature and wildlife, Gaia, the essence of Gaia, the essence of the Elohim, help us in our practical day-to-day movement into this fluidic understanding of who we are as source. We would not be able to become all that we will become in an ascended experience without Gaia, without the nature elements, without the Elohim, without the insects, without all that is source. Because it allows us to see, it's just like that, I'll just bring this. I've got my little cowie there. See my little cow totem and the mother dragon. This beautiful little crystal. If we are this whole crystal, and this whole crystal is source, and then some, because again, micro, macro, in, all, above, below, it's all source, everything. There's nothing without it. And within nothing, there's everything, and everything and nothing. And we see one tiny little fragment, one tiny little fragment that we think we are experiencing, that one little line there. And we think that that's all that we are. And understanding that who are we, what do we exist within, what exists within us? How may I explore and experience and express all that I am in any one moment? But if we do not include all that is within that one little fragment, micro, macro, again, the psyche only understanding itself within the self until it understands there's something else outside of itself to reflect that dichotomy, that polarity, that catalyst to know itself in a new way, then we're not allowing ourselves the full expression of all that we are. So we absolutely need all aspects of all creation in whatever ways that that comes to us. And as you open up in your higher consciousness states, as you meditate, as you align with those higher consciousness alignments, bringing yourself into greater balance through breath and through all that you are as this epicenter of light, allowing yourself to press out and press up and in all ways that you are able to, you can experience yourselves as all aspects, and that's no different than the soul. You have many aspects and fragments of sacred geometry that is your soul, that is helping you in all moments and accessing you in all moments. It is moving in this river of flow with you most often than not, because most on our planet are still not awake. They are unaware of and not calling their soul in to move with them in this suit. All fragments of the soul in and of itself as all that is nature. All that is nature, breath, water, everything that is nature, insects, microorganisms, all of it, you know, everything. Even if we say the viruses that we have, all that is source creator is a part of the experience of who we are and how we allow ourselves to experience it. How we perceive ourselves within any one moment in oneness will determine how we're experiencing that reality. Are we experiencing ourselves within the center of that natural evolution of your experience with a walk through the park? That's an evolutionary experience. One might not think it is, but it absolutely is, because you're allowing yourself through, most often than not, unconscious choice to take a walk and enjoy nature. Yes. But if you think about it at the metaphysical and the conscious experiential level, your oneness in movement with Source, Source is saying, I have a song for you. Can you come and sing with me and play with me and honor all that I'm able to bless you with? That you can allow yourself to see you're one with it. It's one with you. That tree might be one line, that little flower might be another. It's all that fragment of who you are allowing yourself to experience. And it's constant emotion, because remember, all time is now. All realms, all bodies, all forms, male form, female form, male lifetimes, female lifetimes, of course, many other different forms. You know, we have many lifetimes as dolphins and cetaceans and whales and all these different experiences that our souls are connected with. Our soul is connected with these beautiful cetacean experiences. Thank you, the whales, and many dolphins. Because they allow us to express, again, the totems allow us to express an experiential movement of oneness. In that, we allow ourselves to heal. How can I allow myself to align with an experience that I thought beforehand was separate from me, was not me? And they allow me to experience a part of myself that is within them at the soul level. We are coded. It's part of our soul's experience to say, I wanted a great experience this lifetime with animals, because I know how to speak with them and I know how to help heal them, and they're helping heal me. But in these separative and dualistic lifetimes, we're coming here to remember that. And as we awaken, that's why totems and working with totems and working with nature and working with Gaia and all that is the Elohim, it's a part of our allness. It's a part of our coding as the soul of all that we are. To see ourselves in any one moment that we open and allow, that we're a part of that nature song. We're part of the songs of the bees and the birds. And as we mentioned many years ago on our radio show, that, you know, oftentimes I would be walking in nature and I would be just enjoying the sounds and the movement of what I could hear in consciousness that was Source. And they were showing me that there was no accident why the birds and all of the beautiful insects and all of the plants and all of the harmonics that occur in the way that it does. And that when you walk through these experiences in your Christic knowingness, the fields of all that you are as magnetics, your heart pulsating love and benevolence and oneness and care and kindness for the planet and just having fun with Gaia, those pulsations and those reverberations pulsate out into that field of allness, and you're co-creating that new song. And it allows us to be a part of that harmonic vibration. And what it's meant to at this level is to remember that it's all a vibratory song of sound and color. And so to allow us that moment through which I'm consciously choosing to tune into the song that is Gaia. Whereas most often than not, we're not taught that. We've never been told that we are a part of Gaia's song. And therefore we feel separate or cut off or tuned off or turned right off. Like at the radio, we can just choose to consciously turn it on. And as you're walking about Gaia and singing and watching the birds outside and looking at the trees out the window, you can tune in with that song that is that tree. There is a harmonic song and tune within it. There's clearing of the throat, because these are truths ancient and tribal, that tribal elders and tribal leaders and shamans and many of the sacred oracles would come and they would teach the children about the land and how it was very important for sacred sharing of the land to be done so that children would never forget their connection with the land, which we've lost through thousands and thousands of years, you know. And as we remember Jesus, one of Jesus' stories, he mentioned that the flowers and the lilies don't ponder about how their place is within the essence of that song. They just are. They honor their place within it as well as its contribution within it all. And why he often said a house divided within itself would never stand, because we've become within ourselves as nature and within our planet and our collective, within our own families, divided among ourselves and not appreciating and valuing who we are within one another, and appreciating those that have brought us so much, appreciating those that have shown us capacities of compassion and kindness and altruism. Instead, because of the pains and the wounds that we're all healing through all timelines, those divisions are seeking, winning and losing over one another, or proving each other right or wrong, rather than just knowing that there is that song and that placement of the healing that's required, regardless of what that situation or circumstance might be. We're showing ourselves, even if we take the virus, for example, how can we allow the virus to be a part within the place of our song and allow it to be what was required for us to give ourselves permission to know that we've been a part of creating it, that we've been a part of manifesting togetherness and connectedness. Perhaps many not even realizing that this was to allow us to awaken to how have we valued one another? How have we been really appreciative of one another? How have we been appreciative of our abilities to co-create what we've created? And how can we really change that so that we don't have to choose those creations again? We can choose to create from a place that is kind and loving and caring and gentle and nurturing and altruistic. Essentially, these are what all the stories are about, is that harmonic song of oneness. Totems and nature and Gaia, insects, everything. And they were showing me just before I got on that, it was funny. My son and I often have conversations about insects. And I've had many, many lifetimes. Thank you. The insectoids are with us right now. Thank you, insectoids. Thank you. I'm so grateful for you to be with us. Thank you. Their presence is with us in many ways because they allow us to understand that all aspects of what we choose and how we have believed ourselves in just how our words have defined our reality, big and small and creepy and crawly and itchy and squishy, and all of the words that define God's life. How would we perceive our world and reality in a different way if we perceived all as love, all as the harmonical song? We take on those beliefs and those patterns and those perspectives of a spider being icky, and yet it was what our parents had told us, or they saw them freaking out and smashing spiders on the floor. So how do our perspectives of life source become warped and twisted and becoming fearful and, carrying diseases? All of these things are transmutable through our shifting of our perspective of oneness. And I remember my teams telling me years and years ago that my son, I remember years and years ago, about animals and what I was brought up with about allergies, about pets and things like that. And allergies are just the belief patterns that we take on, even at the earliest of ages, even if children aren't aware. that they're taking on the imprints of what their parents say, and children having allergies about pets and things like that, when as a parent I projected that onto my son, and he ended up having an allergy, not even knowing that you were the one projecting it. But we can choose to create ourselves out of that, and I said to him years ago, I said, you can talk yourself into a new belief that you don't have an allergy, because he absolutely loves pets, and he did. He's no longer allergic to them. But this is how we allow ourselves to understand our oneness. Are we just going to continue the fears and the patterns that we were brought up with, or that we see on TV shows, sharks and all that we are fed through our old socioeconomic lineage, Akash, parental, familial dogma, everywhere. We're fed everything. How are we able to now stand sovereignly and say, this is a dynamic song of oneness, and all aspects of life are symbiotic? There are higher vibrational planets that live in symbiosis. There are absolutely animals on our realm because of our consciousness, because of how we treat one another, because of the anger and the aggression that is within our consciousness, and our lack of oneness and altruism and caring and gentleness with one another, how it affects the movement and the rumbling of our planet, how those attitudes and the energies and aggressions affect the movement of animals with one another. If there is an aggression in a house, absolutely those animals will become aggressive. It's energy, it's all energy. There are higher vibrational planets in which there are animals that we have, like lions and tigers, in which they all mosey and move and are in that harmonic song, because they take on the consciousness of all that is within their world. Again, does the environment affect you, or are you affecting the environment? Higher vibrational experience in alignment with oneness, in alignment with 5D, is that we affect our environment. We absolutely do. If we assume that we are not a part of Gaia's uplifting and rumbling, then we're sadly mistaken. We are absolutely a part of everything that happens on our planet. Our attitudes, our energies, our anger, all that we are emitting as energy beings affect everything. And how may we now shift it to say, I'm a consciously present, aware being, and I choose to create a reality, and I choose to see peace in everything, all animals. And so my son and I, this situation came up one day, and we've often talked about this. And I said, okay, next time you see a spider, let's perceive it from a different perspective, and let's see if you can see the story within it for you. Let's see if there's something that, if there's a fear there, how can you now shift it to see what's within that? Because that's an illusion. That fear is an illusion, and it comes from another place, another timeline, another body that you're now bringing into this reality, so that you can have a better relationship with what you know to be spiders. Thank you, insectoids. And they're saying many of us take on those experiences and beliefs because many of us hold insectoid bodies, and many misunderstand insects. And I've talked about this many times on my radio shows to bring awareness and understanding and higher intelligence about insects. And because I belong to an insectoid family, thank you. And the very beautiful beings, very delicate beings. They're so grand. They're beautiful. These 8-foot beautiful, beautiful spiders, and elegant little creatures that just are so delicate and elegant, and they're so gentle. And they, they're just saying that our attitudes sometimes are so aggressive with things that they don't even understand collectively. We don't understand the intelligence of how they show us ourselves within them, how we can move with grace and elegance and not run and scurry and create new stories of who we are within the oneness of it. No different than ourselves within one another as humans to humans. Disenfranchised, remember the titles that we have used and given. Divine feminine to divine male. How are those differences boxed and placed within far outdated experiences and stories that don't serve who you choose to be? Do you choose to be one with the divine feminine? Because if there's a problem with the divine feminine, or an energy or an attitude about it, then there's something within that you are wanting to experience and express and explore in a new way, so that you can bring balance to it and live harmoniously. Living separate from it, judging it, damning it, demeaning it, placing it in a lesser pay box, placing it in lesser priority, lesser respect, lesser appreciation in anything, divine feminine, in anything, one another, country to country, employer to employee, doesn't matter how it is. That's what we're healing at every level. Thank you. Thank you. Bye, Cecilia. I, my, it, ma, it, na, ne, na, it, na, it, so gentle and so sweet and peaceful. Thank you. I love you. I love you. The insects have such an incredible sensory system, far beyond what we've understood, and we can tap into that for our own attunement of sensory perceptions in a multidimensional way. How we feel about the land, how we can move about the land in a heightened way to honor it, to value it, to appreciate it. Remember, everything that Source offers is about our exploration of joy and honor and love and oneness within it. That's why we're offered these blessings and these gifts. They wanted me to go back. I am Can you bring me back to that story vibration, please? Again, thank you. Systems of ecosystems. Systems within ecosystems, and ecosystems within who we are becoming in our oneness with all that is life, and why we call upon those totems to assist us in healing and awakening to the deeper aspects of who we are. That crystallized aspect of who we are, all that we are. The flora, the fauna, the sand, the oil, all that we are as Gaia, and not rape it and pillage it and think that it's ours and controlling it and taking it and then charging incredible prices to then gain greater control and dominance and all of those egocentric experiences. How can we create a symbiotic ecosystem of gratitude and appreciation and honor? Because absolutely, as we do, there's those in the collective that would be saying, oh, that's a Pollyanna experience. They're already showing me now people saying that. And that's okay. You can have those experiences because that's where your consciousness resides. Your consciousness is still boxed in to think that our planet is here for us so we can create this dominance of who has what, who's in control of what prices, which is all arbitrary. Anything to do with fuel is arbitrary, and those people that own the fuel have arbitrarily chosen those prices. And it's all a game. It's all an egocentric game. How can we then create a higher aligned experience through which, yes, Pollyanna, it might seem from those experiences of consciousness levels, no judgment, but that's where you're experiencing it from, to say that how can we create symbiosis through that? And again, now we've come up with many different types of hybrid experiences, which will take it even farther into new directions and dimensions to creating magnetic vehicles, magnetic experiences of how we're understanding our placement within creation and using the natural physics of creation to move and create our symbiosis, which is no accident why we are here in the way that we are. We have far greater potentiation of the physics of who and what we are, how we may express ourselves within this to seek the higher vibrational answers, dear lighted ones. You keep assuming to solve problems from through which the box that it resided in. That fuel is the only answer. This is the only way. You're still looking at it from within that same experience. No different than the experience that this conduit has offered many times. If you have a perspective of consciousness that looks through a telescope, through a perspective that has only allowed itself to explore so far, kept itself within that box, that level of consciousness, those eyes will only perceive how much that heart is willing to open. The consciousness level of that experience, seen through the eyes, through the telescope. You create your reality from your consciousness awareness. Allowing yourself to open, knowing that you are all insects, all songs, all fauna, all flowers, all that is, the physics, the spiritual of Source Creator. You're allowing yourselves to open up to that all song, activating, pinging, and creating, and bathing and clearing out all those densities that felt you were separate. This is the only way. This is how it's only been done. This is how it will always be done. And that's fine. You will experience that earth. Remember, an infinite number of earths. Then feel free to experience that earth. and let others have their infinite potentiation of what might be possible through symbiosis and acknowledgement and appreciation that all is source. Because there's absolutely other ways for us to explore, and not using detrimental, harmful things like nuclear energy. I mean, how is that okay? How is that okay? You know, how is any of that okay? There's absolutely higher vibrational experiences for us that are absolutely positive and loving and kind and peaceful. And we're moving into a higher vibration of our awareness, higher vibrational potentiation of who we are. There's so much, and it comes from who we are as parts and pieces of all that is source, because we are. I don't know how to say what I'm going to say. The body that we hold, remember, we're spirit, we're source, we're the soul. We're all that is source, creating matter, experiencing very aspects of matter. Through our consciousness awareness, the more aware you are, the more you get to create, the more you get to play. That's why we have to learn the lessons. Otherwise, you'd be manifesting from thought, and it would be very imbalanced and detrimental and harmful, because most people are not healed yet. They're not understanding that all is source, it's all love. So they have to go through those healing processes before they get to 5D, and they're manifesting through thought. I mean, it's just the process of evolution. We have to go through these healing experiences so that you're heart-centered and knowing that we're one with all things, right? We don't want to bring harm to anybody or anything. Now, how would that serve us? Right? It wouldn't. We've played those games before. This is the lifetime where we transcend. We transcend the dark and light worlds. Transcend it. Because we have the tools, we have the consciousness, we have everything that we need to create symbiosis in higher vibrational experiences and align with higher vibrational light programs. We do. Coming up with all illumination in all areas of our life. Health, wealth, mental, physical, emotional, energetic, fuel. It doesn't matter what we call it, how we define it. It doesn't matter. Don't define it at all. Just get busy being source. You know, we are physical. We are a song that is fluid and harmonic, always changing. Your cells are always changing. They will not change if you are not commanding them sovereignly to be a part of Source's song. Are you able to heal all that you are through this symbiosis of love? You're not coding, you're not programming your body and your cells and your voice and your intention, the alchemy that is Source within you. Most are not, because they're not taught, they don't believe it. They've never been told who they are, what they exist within, and what exists within them. That's okay. It's part of the journey. That's why we're awakening. But you do, you can. No different than who we are with our environment. Many times on my sacred travels, I would be walking in these different environments, and I would be hearing the songs and the sounds and activating stories from the earth so that they can be told again in a new way, so that the vibrations of my Christic field can add to the vibrations of the old Christic field and weave these new templates and grids of new, of higher Christ consciousness. Thank you. Hi shishima makatuk a e a sisiatuk a ma e hi mama katuk e shishima makatuk a bye ka. So they're showing me an experience. Thank you, Holy Mother Father. Hi shishima makatuk pachamama 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 kaita mama katuk a yama e tataka ma e mama makatuk a mama ka mama ka mama ka mama ka mama ka e hi shishi hi, Mamaka, hi, Mamaka, hi, Mamaka, hi, Mamaka. It was a beautiful reptilian story about the shifting and the changing of consciousness within the separation that man had created from Gaia and from nature and from animals. And I was given a beautiful story in the very sacred land of this one very sacred place of a beautiful mother snake that had come up from the earth. And she had shown me her very sacred, thank you, blessing space, thank you, of many birthing places of these beautiful reptiles that had roamed way back then, where all of the animals in those sacred canyons would be symbiosis with one another. and the consciousness experience of man being separative and dominant, and all of those energies that have led us for thousands of years began to destroy the symbiosis of the land and the animals and the reptiles. And she had given me a beautiful story. As I was walking through this beautiful sacred birthing place, I was downloaded this story, and I began talking with her as I was walking and listening to the man that was in front of us telling us his version of the story that he was taught in university, as a very beautiful and sacred, sacred Peruvian, carrying wisdoms with him from his generations. And part of my gifts and part of my experiences was to also bring, when I'm activated in places like that, the stories from very ancient grid experiences in very sacred lands, the stories from Gaia's point of view perspective, as well as nature's perspective, as well as the energies and stories that are, thank you, held within the omnipresent of Gaia, waiting to be awoken through those that have Gaia speak. Very many elders and shamans and traditional tribal leaders all have these gifts and skills of understanding the stories held within the grids, as well as many war-torn stories as well, because you can go to a place where many wars happen and you can feel those energies and those stories. But this was a particular reptile mother that was showing me of the stories and the degradation that had occurred through the separation of the egocentric dominance that had occurred through many hundreds and thousands of years. Therefore, shifting and changing the aggression and the experiences that the animals began to have with one another. Therefore, changing the topography and the experiences between those creatures and experiences. So when I was there, I was awakening the story, and I was infusing it with greater love and compassion and appreciation and honoring of that sacred place to be reborn within the now Christic energy that I held within my field and my bodies and my intention with the heavens, the councils of light, the Christ consciousness, to bring up these energies and infuse it with new Christ consciousness. I infuse it with new appreciation and honor to bring forward these stories and to create anew. And I then told that story on the radio show many, many years ago, and I then wrote about it a couple of times on my blogs. And bringing it back now, they wanted me to bring it back into the experience so that we understand that we are in oneness with Gaia, always rethreading. So what she was showing me, thank you. Thank you. They're wanting me to take, thank you. They're so precious, and thank you. They're so precious and so gracious, thank you. No, thank you. They're wanting me to take ownership of me coming through there. And this is new, they're just showing me this now, and I never thought about it. They're showing me that people, many, many thousands of people walking through those very sacred places had an upgraded activation because of my activating that moment and sharing those stories in that way. So this is how we impact the environment. Taking these stories and bringing them in anew through our vessels of light that we are. We are each. Hiya mama katakai, Ishisha mai, Shia mama katakai, mama katakai, mama katakai, Hiya mama katakai, Ishisha mama katakai, Sisia mama katakai. Thank you, thank you. Reactivating and rethreading the sacred stories. They're just showing me. Thank you, Holy Mother, and thank you, Holy Gaia. Hiya mama katakai, Ishisha mama katakai. All of the very sacred women energies through all of these sacred birthing places and these sacred energies and elementals that are rethreading vibrational stories through me. That's what we were just doing right there. It was an activation. Thank you, Divine and Holy Mother, Divine and Holy Creators. Thank you, Holy Mother, Father, Creators. Can you explain to me? They're just downloading a story to me right now. Thank you. Hi, Shishia Mama Kataka, Shishia Kataka, my Kiasia, Mama Kataka, Ananaka. No, Hi Shishat ma I Sia Takai, Sia Taka. Hi Mama Kai. I am Mama Kat Sia Nai. Hi Take Shishat. Hi la 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 la. Hi Mama Kai la 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 la. Kai la la la. Hi Shishiataka, Siasiataka, Hi Ananakai, Shishiataka. Okay, thank you. So they're showing me that until this time, my readiness and my expansiveness to re-entangle and awaken the energies within the consciousness of the Holy Christ, those of you that are Gaia speakers, those of you that are very active with the elementals and healing herbs and modalities, that will be working with Gaia. They're showing me that they were just, it was like a, I can only tell you in the words that we have, but it's not it at all. So please, please, please bear with the latency of the words that we have as humans, but there's far more going on, and there's things going on right now in the field right now. So they're showing me this is like this beautiful weaving and interweaving of all of the sacred journeys that I've had, and they were showing me the various my intentions at the time and who I was at the time, a very being on a different earth, different vibration, and my joy and love for earth, weaving these consciousness stories. But in this now moment, because I'm opening this portal, all of the consciousness that were living through me were weaving these with me, so that all of those stories could now weave in this now new me of me, bringing what I had experienced on those sacred journeys in those particular land spaces, now weaving into this now moment of the accumulation of all those. Does that make sense? So it's like you have 6 or 7 different threads in your crafting basket, and wool, all different colors, different threads, different grains. You then start weaving, and you're just picking up thread after thread after thread after thread, and you just start, knitting them all together. You become this blanket and this beautiful experience and texture. But the councils are the overseers of how all of those stories get threaded, so that they can encode through the light programs, through the highest light consciousness, the experience through which each person needs it. Because I am connected in this way through the Holy Christ, I'm very connected with Gaia and love and honor and expect my future experiences with her to be threaded in vibrational. Hi, Shishia. So she's expressing to me she's very happy for me to be awakening again to a deeper wisdom, so that we can continue our threading of stories and happiness and joy, bringing the consciousness wisdoms. Thank you, Mother of Gaia. Thank you. Thank you, Pachamama. Thank you, Holy Mother Father. Thank you, Holy Mother Father, and the Gaia and the elementals, the Elohim. I appreciate and I'm great honor. I can be a conduit for the informations and the wisdoms and the undeniable intellect that we all hold within one another, and the ability to live as the vessels of light, so we can thread new harmonious stories and allow ourselves to honor and nurture and be the altruistic vessels of all that is the loving song of Source Creator, so that we're not in separation, duality, and degradation of one another. And we're allowing ourselves to be a part of that harmonic story, why animals and totems allow us to be that part of that flow, to know that we are all totems living through us and speaking through us in the moments that we need them to show us what we need to see. However, they're showing me that, do I need to go back to that threading? They're saying just for me, they're so sweet. They're wanting me, because there's very few that come forward and acknowledge me for the honor that I am and the presence that I am on this planet. So they're taking moments to honor me and appreciate me in the collective. I'm so grateful. They're saying we know that there is a part of you that just wants to skip by this and just keep moving on with the teaching and the honoring, because I'm so humble and I'm opening up my heart to be vulnerable and receiving. So thank you. Thank you, Gaia. I receive always from you, Gaia. I receive always from you, Gaia. And the sacred song that you teach me, and valuing all that I am as your song. So valued and part of your song with me. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. So they're just saying that we're threading a new song for you in all of the work that I've done with grids and with song and sound, for the collective that most do not know. And that's okay. That's okay. The stories of those songs and sounds and the codes are within their fields, and their higher selves appreciate that. So they're showing me the work that I've done and how it has been appreciated. So grateful. Thank you. And there has been many people walking those paths that have accessed those codes. Oh boy. Thank you. Thank you. Again, it's a multidimensional story, and it's very symbiosis. So honored. So honored. That was a ceremony. That was a very sacred ceremony that just occurred. So I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. And I created the guy. Appreciation and gratitude for all of the sacred ancestors that are allowing me to experience myself in a new way, an expanded way. So they're showing me through me, and through this experience, again, I never know what's going to come out until it's actually happened. And then I see the story of, yes, there's gratitude and appreciation there. And sometimes then when you've put in so much hard work and you've done what you've wanted to do, and you've created in your exploration and your expression, and sometimes, the challenges through life, you're just like, is anything that I'm doing, is anything getting through, and are things going in the way that it's meant to, Source? And Source will always assure you that as long as you're valuing and loving all that you are, and appreciating all that you are, and just having fun being with Gaia, absolutely everything will be as it's meant to be. But as light workers, you're always wanting to make sure, am I doing okay? What else do you need me to do, and how can I serve? So those are parts of your own self-value and self-appreciation, which nature always allows us to understand, through the magnetics of who we are, and the cycles, and the moon, and our ascension cycles. What stories and what totems, what energies are we going to allow ourselves to be symbiosis with? And so they wanted me to say this because I can say this in this way, in a respectful way that has been misunderstood as well. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm very honored that they are acknowledging me to explain things in a deeper, more spirited, Christic manner through the Holy Christ. That when we're honoring ourselves and perceiving totems to offer us their strength or their capacity or their unique gift, if you will, that to look at it in a perspective of oneness, not what it can do for you, not what your planet can do for you, because those are still egocentric driven. To soften your heart and be in oneness of that song. Because perhaps what we think and what we have written on our internet and all those are still wonderful validations of our oneness with them, but they're still written and they're still taken from a perspective of what can they do for us. And again, it's always that one-sided experience that we're moving away from. The 5D alignment is that Christic experience. Is how can we live together in one, and how can I appreciate you and value you? How can I appreciate and value this beautiful lion as a part of who I am? I want to value you, I want to honor you. And so they're allowing me to say thank you again. Wow. I had no idea they were going to be doing this. And this is just my appreciation and honor for you and the song that we are in. Wanted me to take moments of notice and appreciation of how me and my work and my specific skills are allowing me to touch humanity in a unique way. Because very few offer the perspective of the Holy Christ as oneness in all things and all experiences, in a way that is heartfelt, heart-driven, as the oneness it is, the Holy Christic vibration that I speak of in as much and as often as it's my passion. And I often forget that that's part of my gift in coming here. I'm a vessel of light that has that ability to just take what we've done. Yes, that's part of our story, but how can we now look at it from a deeper, wider, higher vibrational perspective? So right now I'm having a conversation with this lion that is actually showing me Zimbabwe culture. So they're showing me a tribesman, one that is hunting in its tribal gear, and it has its bow, and this lion is off to the right, and this tribal person, the hunter, is looking at the lion, and there's a communication that's going on through their oneness. And that tribal person was, they were having a communication just like I was with this lion. And they were showing me that there was a mutual respect and honor. And that tribal person, because of its oneness and because of what it was taught from its elders and its sacredness with those experiences, understands. And it's only in moments of separation and control and egocentric, domination, that we overstep boundaries of honor and respect and appreciation for what is life. and we just disregard, you know, life in and of itself, and we maim and we hurt and harm and, you know, disrespect and disregard the beauty that is Gaia, all nature, all life. So thank you for that beautiful story. I'm appreciative. Huh. I am Thank you. I acknowledge and I accept and I allow all that I am as a sacred vessel of light. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful day. Thank you, Gaia, all the beautiful sacred mothers and the sacred ancestry, the sacred energies of Gaia and the sacred tribals people that are with us today. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciating the value and honor of all that we are as the sacred harmonic song, and all creating the vibrations and harmonics through all tribes, all peoples, all lands, all insects, all life, all totems, and how they help us understand and honor who we are in the song that is Source, offered in the infinite number of ways that Source does. And how can we align with this beautiful experience into a higher vibrational experience of our oneness and really break the boundaries of separation and duality and really become this planet of beautiful, loving sacredness of love and oneness, and our intentions to fuel this beautiful new vibration of sacred earth, sacred earth, sacred earth, sacred earth, sacred earth, through the ground, through the soils, through the water, through the trees, through the flowers, and have all beings a part of this sacred song, not leaving anything and anyone out. It's so amazing. Thank you so much, dear lighter ones. We hope you've enjoyed this beautiful experience of ascension, the healing through totems and through all that is sacred life, the song that is Gaia, the song that is all things in vibration that Source offers us to understand, know, and honor and appreciate all that we are as love and life. And we thank you so much. Namaste, dear lighter ones. Namaste. And we honor you, and we honor you so very much. Thank you. And for those that would like, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. I just pulled this randomly out of the deck. This is one of my favorite cards. I use this all the time as inspiration, the white stag. If you'd like to donate, and the links are down below. Those that you would like global webinars, classes, alignments with 5D, donations, anything that we're gracious for your donations and honoring us and connecting with us on a global scale to really open up the perspectives of who we are as the beautiful essence of Source creating matter, and how can we expand and move into this new arena of potentiation of human potential, human health, human wellness, balancing, and coming into a symbiosis of love and oneness, and honoring that all aspects of life were needed and are honored. And we can't degrade and demean any aspect of life because it's a part of us. It's who we are. And I thank you so much. Namaste. Bye. I rainbow you.